Keep yourself in the loop of everything football on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. The latest news on and off the field, be it college football, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC to the NFL. We've got you covered. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, DJ Youngs. As always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is a podcast. I mean, the internet, Wi-Fi, the way that this world has changed over time, it gives you access to this show, to me, to this excitement, 24/7. At the click of a button, on your device, on your laptop, phone, anything that can connect to the internet, really, to be able to hear. So I know you could be listening at any time, any place, anywhere. And that's why I cover all of the salutations. Greetings, everybody. All right, man. Hey, today is the day. Quite possibly the most exciting day in the off season because, like, you know, there's not a lot going on. You got the trade blocks and you also have the free agency market, stuff like that. But none of that's really as exciting as today. The NFL draft, man. It is tonight, April 29th. All right. And the reason it's probably the more exciting one is because it's where, you know, you see one, you know, these young guys who we saw perform at such a high level and made us fans of them reach their ultimate goal and make it to the league to do big things. And then two, for just if you're an NFL fan, that you get to see what teams are going to do. You get to see what your team, if you have a team, is going to do as far as making a big move to get over that hump. Because you got to remember, only one person technically wins a year. Now, I mean, if it's, you know, people have different goals in life, but I mean, at the end of the day, if you are in the NFL, if you are a football player, your goal is to win the Super Bowl every single year. And that's in most sports, if not all of them. I'm pretty sure the goal is every single year you are trying to win it. So, like, if the Patriots was to win for the last 20 years, that's what they're supposed to do. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody else would just be mad. I'm like, even me who don't have a team, I'd be mad if the same team win every year. I mean, I probably wouldn't watch football. It's like, what's the point, right? Like, that's what makes it exciting, is not only just seeing a team win a game if you have a team, but, you know, the whole point of them winning during the regular season is to get to the playoffs. And then you're rooting for them to win the playoffs so they don't get sent home, so that they make it to the Super Bowl. And in the Super Bowl, now you get to have a parade and party with your friends, and possibly even get an excuse to get out of, let's say, exams if you're in college. I was a sports major in college, so that happened to us when, you know, we're in the Houston area, and the Astros were in the World Series, and we got to literally postpone a final exam because we basically told the professor there's no way anybody's going to be able to focus on studying, and he completely understood, and we got it postponed. All right, so that's one way, you know, if the Super Bowl's running in close to exams and you are lucky enough to be in that type of field. And then two, you might even get off work for the cases of that, like especially maybe not even the day of the day after the Super Bowl, possibly, but more so when it's parade time. If you work and it's time for the parade and it's coming down the block your work building is on, guess what? They probably gonna let y'all, hey, go enjoy, celebrate, enjoy the people, enjoy the time, you know. all of that. So that's exciting, especially in Texas. We do take our sports pretty seriously. I can't speak for other states, but I know here it's very exciting. Now we don't, haven't really had a championship before the Astros, which that's controversial. Since what 96 Rockets, 95 Rockets, and to be honest, I can't even really contest to other sports because other ones outside of football, basketball, and baseball may have been the case, but you know how it works, man. At least here, those are our bread and butter. Astros, Rockets, Texans. I am not a fan of all three, but I'm just saying that's how the city works, right? Back to football because this is a football podcast. Yeah, so this is exciting. Get to see, hey, we got this person to fill in this gap, or what in the world? Who is that? Why did you? It's the first. What are you doing? It happens. I've seen it multiple times. The draft is very unpredictable. I don't know if anybody ever has had a perfect board, but I'm pretty sure getting a perfect first round board, not even draft period, because I'm pretty sure that's impossible. But first round, just 32 picks. I don't think anybody's ever had a perfect board for the draft. One, because there's always, there's usually a surprise move, even when you hear rumors of it. And then two, there's always somebody that, you're like, oh, they got that guy. Who is he? But yeah. Hey, that's why I'm excited, man. And give you a rundown of the show. Of course, we are going to be draft based. It's draft day, so we're draft based. All right. Started with new news, so that's going to vary. But other than that, man, the next segment, going to finish up what we started last episode. Talk about those team needs, what each team is supposed to be focusing on, as far as what they may need to be getting this first round of the draft. Okay. And then after that, we're going to talk about just history of the draft a little bit. We're going to talk about teams that traded their way up to get the quarterback that they believe was going to make a change. And I say believe because some of them didn't work out. So despite some of them actually working out, and again, I guess you could say working out could be, did it, bring them back to their glory days? Did it just help them get better than they were, or did they achieve the ultimate goal of getting a ring, right? That's the ultimate goal. So that might be the case, but I'll be grading if that person was actually paid off what they were worth. And what I mean by that is, when they trade to get to these spots, of course they have to give up some things. So did this guy pan out as good as you hoped because you spent 4 or 5 draft picks on him, stuff like that. That's what we're going to talk about there. And then last, man, I want to talk about some these guys that's going to be possibly drafted tonight or in the nights coming, moving forward in each position. All right, so we're going to talk about each position real quick and talk about who are the top contenders in that division. All right. But yeah, man, I hope you're excited. I know I am, really just to watch it, to be honest. I like talking to you guys too, but I'm definitely going to be ready for the next episode. The next episode might just be full of who people picked, what happened, what's talked about, stuff like that. You're definitely going to get a lot of it, but that might just be the whole episode. So heads up there. All right, but hey, let's get into new news real quick, man. I got a few things to update you guys on since the last episode. All right. So, usually when I jump into this, I always try to start off with the respect side. If anything's happened in an unfortunate way, which has. So, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer and Florida State linebacker Geno Hayes has passed away. He was diagnosed with liver disease 2 years ago, and while awaiting for a liver transplant, he passed. He was just 33 years old. Of course, teams like the Buccaneers definitely posted to give him a shout out. He also played for the Bears and the Jaguars during his career, and he played for the Bucs from 2008 to 2011, the Bears 2012, the Jags from 2013 to 2014. He made 70 starts during his NFL career. He had 401 tackles, 10 sacks, 6 interceptions, and 6 forced fumbles, man. He leaves behind his wife and 2 young kids, one 13, one 8. So rest in paradise. Excuse me. Rest in paradise to Geno Hayes, man. And my love and prayers go out to his family. More unfortunate news is Central Michigan quarterback John Keller is in serious condition in the hospital after being shot. Now, of course, this might be updated by the time you guys actually listen to this, but so John Keller was among 2 shooting victims at an on-campus party. All right, the university officially said that statement a couple days ago, actually. Just haven't gotten an update. Outside of him being in critical condition, must have been pretty serious. That's the majority of what they gave to us, but I'm definitely praying, because you don't ever want to see that, especially somebody in a position like him who has the opportunity to do something really great and be successful. I'm pretty sure it was always his dream to play D1 football and go to the league, or even if not, you still got dreams and aspirations, right? So John, hang in there. We're rooting for you, man. Like I said before, prayers and outreach for sure. All right, now, not to bring you down, guys, it's gonna be all right, man. Moving on, the NCAA finally approved that one-time transfer rule that can actually start this upcoming fall season, 21-22 academic season. If you don't know about the one-time transfer rule, so usually when these guys have to switch schools or want to switch schools, depending on their situation. Usually the situation is they're not getting enough playing time, or they lost a starting job, and so they want to go somewhere they can start, stuff like that. But they be having to sit out. We see this like, they have to sit out for a year. So that guy is a great talent, but he got to sit out for a year. Well, that's not the case anymore. The NCAA Division I Board of Directors ratified this rule this past Wednesday that will allow all athletes who have not yet transferred the ability to do so one time in their college career and immediately be eligible to play. Okay, the reason it said not yet transferred is because before this rule was made, if you were a grad transfer, you were still eligible. So usually what guys would do is, if they did grad school, if they graduated from somewhere, did grad school somewhere else, they were eligible to play immediately. So now they're saying if you do it in undergrad, you cannot do it in grad, but you can do it once, whenever. So either, undergrad or when you go into grad, it's the one time, man. So good thing they finally came and got over that. As we see time go on, as these different issues that are among just in general, NCAA, NFL, NBA, we see them making the changes. I can give them that for the most part. Some of the battles are longer, dealing with the NIL, stuff like that. But you can tell they're trying. So now if an athlete has already, use a one-time exception for a transfer as an undergraduate, the athlete's not automatically eligible as a grad transfer. Athletes can still apply for a waiver to become eligible under certain circumstances, but of course it's not guaranteed. All right? That is what's going on there. LSU, still in the unfortunate predicament that they are in the news again around the same stuff. So 7 women, siete women filed a federal case action lawsuit against LSU and its leadership this past week, with the university's former president and athletic director, as well as its athletic fundraising group, among those named defendants. So a lot of big people, big names, man. So according to what they're pushing, women attended the Baton Rouge campus at some point between 2013 and 2021, which is now. So from now, dating back 8 years, they said they were victims of sex-based discrimination, including rape, sexual assault, sexual harassment, and or stalking. All right. They include 3 former LSU tennis players, 2 former student workers in the football recruiting office, a former student, and current student. They allege a conspiracy by the defendants to keep them quiet and deprive them of their constitutional and federal rights in order to protect the reputation of the LSU athletic brand. They are seeking more than $5 million in damages, man. Tough situation. Spoke about what's already been going on, what's already been in the news at LSU, and I'm going to echo it again that I believe that whatever is the truth, I hope that it comes out and justice is served wherever it needs to be served. Okay, so if this really happened to these young ladies, I hope they get what they are looking for out of it. If this is not true, then I hope the repercussions amongst that happens and people's names could be cleared. Either way it go, we all have to wait for the facts to come out because we're on the outside. At least I am. I haven't even been to LSU's campus in my life, so it's hearsay. You can read stuff, but I mean, you can't pick a side unless you have facts in front of you, of course. So that's what's going on at LSU. Unfortunately, more stuff. All right, let's get to the nitty gritty in the NFL. What's been going on these last couple days? Well, let me tell you, the Carolina Panthers have traded quarterback Teddy Bridgewater to the Broncos for a 6th-round pick in this draft tonight. All right, that was announced yesterday, technically, from when it's supposed to be getting posted on draft day. But the Panthers will pay Teddy Bridgewater $7 million. The Broncos will pay him $3 million. That's for what he is owed for the year. And, I guess that's how they basically decide to come together with that. It says the trade will not take Broncos, who have the number 9 overall pick, out of the market for a quarterback still tonight. Apparently that's still part of the thing, but they just went to go get Teddy Bridgewater, I guess, to be a solid backup, maybe. I mean, he has the experience, so wouldn't be surprised, right? But I think the surprising side of it to me is that, it wasn't like they sent Drew Lock. Drew Lock actually had his best game in this past season versus the Panthers when he beat them 32-27 with 21 of 27 passes completed, 280 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. So it's like, wow, they went to go get the guy that he, beat out. But, I mean, they see something there. Or they're going to use Drew Lock somewhere else. Maybe he's already in a different deal. That definitely could be the case. Not 100% sure. But, he was 8-10 in his 2 seasons starting. But he did tie the league for, the most interceptions. I believe him and Carson Wentz, 15 interceptions. In his 13 starts, the Broncos last season, because he only played 13 games. And his passer rating is ranked 32 at the bottom of the barrel. Since 2015, though, the Broncos have the worst total QBR, which is 45.2 in the NFL, which is not a surprise. Denver hasn't been in the playoffs since winning the Super Bowl, back with Peyton. Teddy Bridgewater, on the other hand, he signed his 3-year, $63 million deal with the Panthers before last season. He threw for 3,733 yards this past season with 15 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. By renegotiating the final 2 years of his deal with the Panthers, they were able to save $6 million in the 2021 and $26 million in the 2022 year. Okay, that's what's going on with that. All right, surprising trade. I didn't see it coming. At least I don't know why exactly it happened. I don't see too much benefit there exactly. Like I said, Teddy does have the experience, but unless he has a pretty big turnaround, I don't know if he's going to be anything great or what a franchise wants forever. He had only 1 touchdown pass in the 4th quarter of all seasons, and it's 0-8 in games in which the Panthers had a chance to win, or tie in the last possession. He didn't win any of those. Okay, I mean, it's not surprised that the Panthers got rid of him because we've been hearing about them getting rid of him. Like I said, it's just weird that the Broncos got him actively. Like, literally, the Panthers tried to give Teddy Bridgewater to the Lions when they were trying to get Matthew Stafford. That didn't work. I believe they tried to give him to the Texans as part of the deal to acquire Deshaun Watson. That hasn't worked. So it's interesting. It's interesting, but Bridgewater has a 26-23 career record as a starter over his 6 seasons in Minnesota, New Orleans, and Carolina. So at least he has a winning record, man. Maybe that's what it is. The other surprising thing is, like, now the Panthers still have 4 quarterbacks that I don't think could get. Well, maybe PJ Walker, because they got Aaron Darnold, William Greer, PJ Walker, and Tommy Stevens. Haven't heard much about PJ Walker lately, but I mean, shoot, if they haven't put him in, then maybe he isn't getting it done either. I mean, just putting 2 and 2 together there. All right, Antonio Brown, as we all should have known or at least expected, he's re-signing with Tampa Bay. Yep. So Antonio Brown re-signed with Tampa Bay on a 1-year contract. You know, keep giving him 1 year, trying to make sure he stay tight. The deal could be worth $6.25 million. He's guaranteed $3.1, and his signing bonus is $2. And then the rest of it is incentives. They were able to do this. The Buccaneers were able to do this deal with him after they renegotiated and restructured their deal with Cameron Brate, the tight end. All right. Next up, somebody else getting on a new team. The Miami Dolphins had agreed to terms to trade starting left guard Eric Flowers to the Washington football team in a deal that includes a swap of their late round NFL draft picks. Okay, so nothing too crazy there, but that's just the case. Like I said, this is his return. So in this deal, the Dolphins receive the first of Washington's 2 7th-round picks, with Miami sending the second of their 7th-round picks. Okay, this is the return to Washington for him. He revived his career there in 2019 when he moved from offensive tackle to a guard. He then signed a 3-year, $30 million contract with Miami. All right, so now he's back. They sent him back after all that. Okay, so in the news, because you got to always talk about whatever's going on with the Seahawks, General Manager John Schneider says that he never actively negotiated with any teams that called the Seattle Seahawks about getting Russell Wilson. You know, it was all in talks and stuff, and the reason this all came up is because John and Pete Carroll spoke publicly this week for the first time ever since all that stuff was coming out about Russell Wilson, about his frustrations and stuff of that nature. Just to put out a couple quotes out there, Steve Carroll said there was some stuff that was said that had to be dealt with, and it has been. So Russ is in a great place right now, and he's been in a great place throughout the offseason. We have communicated throughout all of the things just like I always have. All right, so he says they're good, they're happy. Russ is going to have a great year with them, man. All right, not surprised there. Like Russ already kind of said, he just said it's a little frustrated, but he ideally wants to stay there. And if I'm them, then I'd want to keep him. All right, update. Saquon Barkley, the New York Giants running back, is on track to be ready for the start of the season. Officially noted. I always said that he should be, but now it's out there on paper. So remember, Barkley did tear his ACL in his right knee during Week 2 versus Chicago this past season. He had a surgery in October, giving him almost 11 months to basically recover and rehab in order to start for the 2021 season. But yeah, the surgery was successful and everything, and the Giants said that, you know, he's doing well enough to where they know he can still be great for them, which made them also pick up his fifth-year option this week. Okay. With that move, Barkley's 2022 salary will be worth about $7.2 million. All right, that's according to sources. Another update on a fellow injured man. Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dallas Prescott is quotedly right on track or maybe a little ahead of schedule. All right, and that came from Mike McCarthy, who was able to check him out this week, and what he says was probably the most extensive workout that Prescott has had since his injury. He was able to, sit on it. He said, I was very impressed with his progress. Just coming off that type of injury, his footwork, he's doing all the normal movements that you can do in a quarterback school format. Okay, so good to hear. Dak's in a great place, as expected. But it's always good to get that certainty. Okay. Now, interesting enough, the Atlanta Falcons say that they are open to offers about Julio Jones. Interesting enough, right? Now, of course, this is a little more specific to their general manager. All right, the general manager, Terry Fontenot, something like that. But yeah, he came out and said that they basically are not saying that they. He didn't say not saying, but the way he was trying to clarify it is saying that when teams call about any player, then we have to listen and have to weigh it and have to determine if that's the best option for the organization or not, and handle everything with class. Is basically what he said. Now, you think this is somebody that you just cherish because Julio is Atlanta's all-time leader in catches with 848 and yards, 12,896, and his 60 touchdowns rank him second only behind Roddy White for them. All right, he was picked number 6 overall by them after they spent everything to move up and grab him in the 2011 draft. He immediately was successful there. Within his first 2 years, having well over 1,000 yards. He had the second year was 1,000. The year before, his rookie year, he only had 958 yards. But he had 8 touchdowns, and he had 10 the next year. So that is a great start. He is only 32 years old right now. He leads the NFL in receiving yards. He led the NFL in receiving yards in 2018 and 2015. So that's a powerful asset. They say that it's up for grabs if people want him. Interesting enough. We have the first player who says they are going to change their number. One player that I am honestly not surprised to hear from. But the now Minnesota Viking cornerback, Patrick Peterson. All right, he's one of the first ones to hear about it since they relaxed the rule and allowed multiple positions, including defensive back, can be able to wear numbers 1 through 49. All right, he released this on his podcast, All Things Covered podcast. He said he'll be switching from number 21 that he was known for with the Arizona Cardinals to number 7, not because he's necessarily in a new place, but because that was his number that he believed is his, that he made stand out during his college career at LSU and his high school career. He always felt like 21 belonged to Dion, and and when he got to the league, he knew he was going to have to, have a 20 to 49 number. So it was either 21 because of Dion, or he also said, or either 24 for Champ Bailey. All right, but now he gets to go for what he knows. He said it was a no-brainer, easy decision. Even though I don't know if anybody told him about. He might not know about that money part. He might not know. All right, last up, real quick, man. Because the draft is tonight, might as well say that this was in the news. But I'm pretty sure I know why it was said. But apparently San Francisco 49ers, who have the 3rd overall pick, they like 5 of the quarterbacks in this draft. 5. They say they don't know. Their options are open. They don't know. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Justin Fields. I just don't know. It's quarterback galore. Clearly, Trevor Lawrence won't be on the board, guys. There's a good chance Zach Wilson might not be there either. So what 5 were you speaking of? You should have just said 3. Okay, they did say something about 3, but then maybe they said they also are open to the 5, as if that they had Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and one more as their top 3, and then the other 2 was somebody else. But yeah, they said that's why they moved up to 3, because they were comfortable with 3 for sure, and then it turned into 5, and now they just don't know what they're gonna do. Man, calm it down. I know you're just trying to, cover up and keep things quiet so it doesn't get out. Not crazy, but hey, do what you do, man. But we're going to find out tonight. All right, guys. Hey, that's the new news, man. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. We got more draft information coming your way. Be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
Thank you for your patience. I hope you enjoyed that quick commercial break. You are tuning into the GSMC Football Podcast with your guy, DJ Youngs. Hey, man. Hey, it's a show, man. It's a day. It's the draft day. We're hype all episode about what's about to go down tonight. All right. So we are on segment number 2, which is me doing the second half of discussing what teams' needs are, what everybody's kind of expecting them to go attack in this draft tonight, and pretty much on giving you information on that. So last episode, I talked about the NFC. We are now talking about the AFC. All right, it's time for the AFC. We're going to start in the AFC East, and we're going to start with their division leader, man, the team that it looked like it might take some work to dethrone the new guys on the block as far as success in this division, and that's the Buffalo Bills, man. Buffalo Bills is a team that you've heard me speak about on here time and time again, that is a really good team, but it's going to forever have that roadblock of defeating Patrick Mahomes and his Chiefs. They could start a rivalry that could be a back and forth for some years, kind of like Colts and Patriots making their way to fight for the chance to go to Super Bowl. So I believe Buffalo and Kansas City might be the next, just because I have so much faith in Josh Allen, man. But Buffalo's biggest problem isn't about what they have. It's about what the other team have. And what the other team have is a quarterback that can make some crazy things happen. So how do you stop a quarterback like that? Well, you do exactly what the team that defeated them in the Super Bowl did, and that was play some hard defense, shut that thing down. So Buffalo's biggest need is a pass rusher, edge rusher, man, somebody coming off of there fast enough to catch up and catch Patrick Mahomes off guard, keep him from doing all that acrobatic throwing that he does, and to slow him down, really. Okay? So, I mean, they can do a number of things on defense, honestly, even though they had a pretty solid defense. And what I mean by pretty solid is well above average defense. The prospects that people are expecting them to get at their position in the draft. Jalen Phillips out of Miami. Aziz Ojulari out of Georgia. Okay. And like I said, it's pretty versatile on what they should be able to accomplish. So, you also have the opportunity for cornerback So, they do have Tre'Davious White. He's a top corner in the game, which is why they are where they are, right? But yeah, they get on somebody on defense. Somebody can get back there, stop my homeboy, baby goat Mahomes, man. And when it's their turn to go ahead and make a selection at the number 30th pick, I believe it'll definitely be on that defensive side of the ball. Josh Allen and squad, Stephon Diggs, they put on a show, man. He got Cole Beasley making his plays. And then Gabriel Davis, man, him showing up, man, really shows that they have a solid offense. So get some on that defense and get real good with it, Do that, all right? Next team, Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins, who is aggressive leader in this draft. I believe they have quite a few picks throughout the draft, but most importantly, they have 2 in the first round. And that's the 18th pick and the highest, the number 6 pick, which is what they got from the Eagles. So they was able to make their way up there. Top 6 pick, man. That's high up there, right? So a lot of people are thinking, hey, they need to get some things to help out in there. So get some pieces at receiver, stuff like that to up their game so Tua can be that guy, right? Well, with that, they did decide they came up on Will Fuller. They have Devontae Parker and Preston Williams. So it's not terrible. But, a lot of people are, saying, like, if they're going to go for, what's the best available offensive player, Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase. Okay, so that's what would be expected to help out. But it's reported that it's a good chance that they'll actually go for protection as far as, taking care of Tua, which we know he needs to be taken care of. He's a little on the smaller end as far as a quarterback, and, he does have a slight injury history. So you want to make sure he's good to go. He was able to prove himself enough to show that, he can start in this league. So next season will be his full year, I'm sure, of starting. So as long as they put the pieces around him and protect him and give him, a little help, then boom, right? Okay, so, but offensive line talent, that they can get at number 6. Penei Sewell out of Oregon, Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern. Those are top offensive lineman picks that they can jump at. I did mention, possibly going for, Kyle Pitts or Jamar Chase if they're still there. Wouldn't be surprised at all if they do that. But other than that, maybe, a linebacker, Chaz Surratt out of North Carolina, or Jabril Cox out of LSU. Somewhere around there, right? Maybe. Could be. All right. We'll see. All right. And then I just want to make note, though. Defensive wise, that's the only thing I feel like. Linebacker is where they can go. I mean, if they just, and I'm talking about first round pick. We're talking about first round. Tonight's the first round pick, by the way, guys. Just first. So with that, they do have 2 picks. So maybe they'll go one offensive player and still get a lineman on the second one, or get a lineman on the first and get a linebacker on the second. Who knows? They have options. But I want to mention that something they do not need, I do not believe, is a cornerback. As you heard on my last episode, was that? Pretty sure, yeah. Last episode, or no, episode before last. Sorry. I gave you the rankings on defensive backs in this league. And sure enough, the number 1 DB in the league, Xavier Howard, plays for the Miami Dolphins. They're in good hands right now. That's for sure. I mean, clearly it takes more than one. They did bring in free agent Byron Jones and Noah Igbenji. Sorry, Noah. I'm going to just call you Noah because that's a tough name for me, man. But yeah, they got him too, man. So those are people that at least can get the job done. Like I said, more pressing issue, offensive talent. All right, so we'll see what they do there. New England, man, I don't know what to say about New England. So New England is a team that, for whatever reason, is in many discussions about moving up tonight. All right, they have not made any trades to move around yet. A lot of people haven't at least heard, what I mean by a lot of people, I'm talking about the analysts that somehow got people paid off in the office that give them all the information. But shout out to them because, without them, we wouldn't have enough to talk about. But it hasn't come out yet. People expect them to possibly move up in order to get maybe a young quarterback, if that's the case. Which, obviously that's going to be the only reason that they move up tonight. Their pick is at 15. If they're going to move up to like I'd say top 7. If they're somewhere in there, then I'd say they're trying to go for a quarterback. Otherwise, if they move up anything lower than that, then that means they're trying to get a specific offensive player, I believe. Just a guesstimate. I'm not really sure. But, like I said, they're picking 15. That's like right there to just get what you can, which they spent a ton of money in this offseason, getting a lot of free agents. Experience clearly is key. That's what they want. But as far as a quarterback, man, if they were to move up, but, if they stay there, somebody's available. People don't believe that they believe in Cam Newton. They brought him back. So maybe they did bring him back in a capacity to compete for the starting position. And if not, he's still backup and he's had a year experience of learning their offense. We hear a lot of good things about Mac Jones going there out of Alabama. So maybe that'll be somebody to get. I think a surprise on my end would be if they get Justin Fields. But ultimately, if I had to take a guess out of what I see, I think they should go for a defensive lineman. Okay, they did bring in Devin Gochow, Henry Anderson, and Martavius Adams to provide, depth right there. But I think that they might need to go a little harder. They might need to get somebody pretty lethal on that D-line. Levi O out of Washington. Christian Barmore out of Alabama. Options there. They definitely filled in the tight end position. So we got weapons. We got decent weapons on offense. So my first guess, they would go defensive player. But if they move up, then expect an offensive player. Either a quarterback if they go really high, or if they just want something before them, then it'll be offensive skill player. All right. And last in this division, the New York Jets. Poor New York Jets, man. It's tough just to be a New York Jets fan, I'm sure, guys. But I'm hoping that, you guys, your new GM, will, make the right choice here. They do have the number 2 pick. Jokes all around for them missing out on their number 1 pick. But, hey, you win some, you lose some, clearly. Number 2 pick, and pretty much guaranteed they're going for a quarterback. And by guaranteed, I mean if they're not getting a quarterback, then somebody's getting fired, I'm sure. And with that being said, there's rumors that it's pretty much sealed and dealed that they're getting Zach Wilson out of BYU. Like, I don't know if they've just already, made his jersey or what. But that's word on the street. I don't know, what they saw in Zach over everybody else that's a contender. But, if not him, there's Trey Lance out of North Dakota State that I know that they have been scouting as well. That's what we'll see, but don't be surprised if something else happens. Outside of that, I think when there comes back around to be their turn yet again with the 34th pick, they'll probably go running back. They'll get somebody young as far as an offensive skill player, and we'll see. All right. Moving over to the AFC North, the division that I constantly say is one of the most competitive, if not the most competitive, Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens has been talk all offseason about them getting themselves a receiver, about getting somebody to change the game for them. They got Hollywood Brown. That's nice, but everybody said they needed a little bit more, right? So what does that little bit more look like, man? I like how a lot of people are not really talking about Sammy. Sammy Watkins went over there, but I guess that's not enough. It's expected for them to get a receiver when it's their turn, this draft. which I believe based off of, so as I reported, that off of the trade that they did with Kansas City, they got their picks. So they will actually have they'll be one of the few teams that have multiple picks in the first round. Is that correct? Fact check. Yeah. No. They get the 27th pick and the 31st because they got it from Chiefs. Yes. So they got 2 first-round picks, but they're at the bottom. But it's got to be nice to be back-to-back. If you ever did fantasy football draft, it is nice when, it sucks to be one of the last people to pick. But when you get that boom, that snake draft and you get to pick real close together, that is decent because you get a better chance of getting 2 players around the same quality for sure on, what's available. Okay. Wide receiver, that low. Terrence Marshall Jr. out of LSU, Rashad Bateman, who you hear me say out of Minnesota. I don't think many people know when he's going to go. It's hard to say. And then on top of that, really just any defensive player, if you ask me, can also help boost them. That would be cool. I mean, they're pretty stacked on DBs. As you heard me mention multiple of their DBs on my top DB list. So, I mean, that's not ideal, but I mean, if they get a top DB, like top 2 in this draft, just so happen that somebody falls down that low, then of course grab it. I'm thinking more so you should aim for a top linebacker, D lineman, and again, that's after you just take whatever's the best available offensive player. Cincinnati Bengals. All right, Cincy, you got your quarterback. Now take care of him. The brother Joe Burrow, he tried his best last season with what he had, and he was defeated in a really rough way. So you guys need to get an offensive lineman. I don't think that one's very blurry. I think that's pretty straightforward. I think everybody understands that that's what the case is, and you have the number 5 pick. So based off what we believe that the first 3 to 4 teams are picking, you can easily get the best offensive lineman in the draft. Whoever that you believe that is, based off your research, go get him. All right. So Penei Sewell in Oregon, Sean Slater, Northwestern. Those are ones we hear about a lot. Get it done. Help my guy out, man. Other than that, I'll definitely say get some weapons for Joe Burrow. So he just needs help. He needs a little help, man. Help that brother out. Cleveland, my division winners for this upcoming season, out of my predictions. You guys, if you ask me, are good on D-line. So I'm confused on why that's a topic. Like Myles Garrett, on point. Jadeveon Clowney, good enough. Takarise McKinley, good enough. You got these guys, man. You got it. All right. Just hang on to that. Don't listen to these people out here that's saying that that's where you need to go. I think you did a good job setting that up for who you wanted on there. But at number 26 in this draft, you need to go linebacker if anything. You guys get a linebacker and it's a done deal. Okay? I'm saying you like that means you're what's it called? Then again, you guys did have, you guys had a solid O-line and stuff. But get out there, man. Get somebody at linebacker to help that defense a little bit. You got, fair cornerback game, Pan Ward, but and you got weapons for Baker. So now you know what to do. Get a linebacker. All right. And you guys are more than likely going to be one of the favorites, I believe, for more than the division for a long playoff run. Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Pittsburgh, I ain't gonna lie. I don't think I'm in a position to really critique or tell anybody there what to do. But, because y'all handle y'all business. Y'all usually draft pretty well. But you got a really old man back there, so go for an offensive lineman. Okay? Y'all got to take care of him just to make sure he can make it through the season. 24th pick. Get who you can. I mean, honestly, offensive or defensive lineman, whichever one is better at that spot. But you guys did good with Chase Claypool. That was a good finesse. So you got him and Juju at receiver. I don't think Ben needs any more weapons. That'll be good enough. AFC South. Let's just get into it. Houston Rockets first. Your need, guys, I don't know. Jesus Christ. You don't even have a first round pick. Yeah, for those that don't know, reminder, the third pick would have been the Houston Texans. They gave that away to the Miami Dolphins some time ago in a trade. I believe last year before last. And then Miami traded that to 49ers. So that's how the 49ers got that high. We all remember now. So Houston Texans, you don't have a first round pick. Okay, you don't get to pick until... Shoot, you don't have a second round pick either. Who knows when the Houston Texans will ever get to pick. I think not until the 67 pick. And you're pretty much in trouble with your quarterback, who will be available at 67. Hey, just keep Kellen Mond in Texas. That'll be your best bet. I did hear rumors or talks about David Mills being a good fit out of Stanford. Who knows? But I don't know if you want that to be your first pick. You go with you guys get scored on a lot because Deshaun Watson did put on a show and was struggling. So you might need to do some defense, some linebackers maybe, or top DB that's available. Just a thought. All right, Indianapolis Colts. You guys need an edge rusher. Jalen Phillips out of Miami is a good fit. That's a good option. You guys in the first round will be picking at 21. So I definitely think he'll be there. But other than that, I mean, replace Carson Wentz is my other best guess. Or at least get him some protection so he doesn't have to run around and make even worse passes. One or two. Jacksonville Jaguars, just go ahead and get Trevor Lawrence. I don't think we got much to talk about there. If we need to talk about that any more than other than you have the number one pick and you need to get the number one guy, especially if he's the quarterback that you need, then boom. Yeah, guys, they need a quarterback. Tennessee Titans. So you just got rid of Jadeveon Clowney. Do you feel like you have enough on that line? I believe you guys can, get a little disruptor. Defense was solid, but get another disruptor. You got the running back, you got the quarterback, you got receivers. So I think we're good on offense. So get over there, get D lineman. To help out. You got Jeffrey Simmons, terrific asset. Last year. After signing Denicio Autry away from the Colts, you guys got quite a bit of juice inside there. So I'd say focus on the outside of it. Probably the same people I've been naming. All right. AFC West. We're moving along here. AFC West, Denver Broncos. Jesus Christ, please replace the Drew guy. Get a quarterback. Granted, I got to cut you guys a slight break. You are at number 9, so I don't know who will be the best one at 9. Like I said, there's literally, 4 or 5 pretty good quarterbacks that are going to be in this draft. And I believe, 3 of them for sure are going to be gone in the first 3 picks. The other 2, we don't know. Okay? So if there just so happen to be one at 9, I think that's your guy. Whoever's left. Grab him. I don't think Justin Fields will make it that far. Trey Lance, we wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we've seen it in drafts where it's people that we thought were going to go high and they're still waiting for quite some time, and then they have out their revenge and they become amazing quarterbacks. This could be your chance, Denver. This could be it. Drew Lock is not the guy. Courtland Sutton's coming back. You're going to need a good quarterback to throw it to him. Do it. All right. Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know. You guys are amazing. I don't know. Let's see what the people say. The people say a pass rusher. They say you need a pass rusher. Either Peyton Turner out of Houston or Jason Owe out of Penn State. I think you're good where you're at. This is also why you didn't need to. Well, I mean, you guys are building. I'm saying now because you guys definitely needed O-linemen, but you got the O-linemen. All right? You did that. You did the job. So the job was complete. Otherwise, I would have said get that first round. Other than that, a linebacker. Jabril Cox out of LSU. Yeah. Team up. All right. Las Vegas Raiders. I think you guys need a tackle. All right. You got Trent Brown is going back to New England. You got to replace him properly. Las Vegas Raiders have the pick you guys have. The 17th pick. That's a good number, by the way. 17th pick. Either get a tackle or get a safety. Get a good guy back there to defend them. You did okay this past season, but going 8-8 definitely shows you that you need just something to get you over the hill. So, Damar Hamlin out of Pittsburgh or Hamza Nasruddin out of Florida State. Those are the top safeties going right now. LA Chargers. You got your quarterback. Now protect them. A lot of times, these teams investing in these new guys. But Justin Herbert put on the show, so you got who you want to work with. I at least hope that there's no confusion there. So I would say just protect them a little bit better. Get your offensive line, a tackle, preferably, or a cornerback. I think cornerback would be cool too. If you got that in the first round, wouldn't be mad at it. Tyson Campbell out of Georgia, Kelvin Johnson out of Kentucky. Okay, options for you here. You have the 13th pick. That's not terrible. Beware of teams like New Orleans moving up though, because it's gonna happen. I feel it. All right, and that'll cover it, man. That is the AFC. That is the teams that are what they need, who they need, and we're gonna see, man. We're gonna see. Like I said, we're doing a lot of draft talk today, so hey, we're gonna see. Hey, next up though, like I said, since we're talking about teams moving up and the risk of that, I'm gonna talk about that happening sometime in history. What happened? Did it work out for him or did it not work out? All right, so that's coming up next. So stay tuned with us. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. Sorry. Be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back. Thank you for your patience. I hope you enjoyed that quick commercial break. You are tuned into the GSMC Football Podcast with your guy, DJ Youngs. Alright, hey, on to the next, man. Third segment. Alright, in this episode, I want to give a little treat. I want to talk about the times that teams moved up in the draft in order to snag them the quarterback of the future. Was it the right pick? Was it not? That's what we're about to discuss. All right. And granted, this happened 29 times in the draft. And however, there's a few of them before my time of actual comprehension of what I was watching. So I'm not even going to talk about it's like 3 or 4 of them. Okay. I'm going to skip those. We're going to talk about the other ones. All right. We'll start at the beginning of the 2000s. All right. So this is what happened. Back in 2001, Atlanta Falcons sent wide receiver Tim Dwight its first round pick, which was 5th overall, a 3rd round pick, and a 2002 second round pick to the Chargers in order to get the 1st overall pick. Who did they select? Michael Vick. All right. Michael Vick is a name that anybody that is listening to this, unless you're listening to this for research purposes to learn more about football, if so, listen closely. Everybody knows who Michael Vick is. Why? Because he was before his time. Oh my goodness. He was unstoppable. Michael Vick was how everyone sees Lamar Jackson and everything he is capable of now. But before. So it was on another grand scale because, I mean, now we got a lot of dual threat quarterbacks, I feel like. Well, I take that back. Let me not say a lot, but it's definitely a trend, right? But Michael Vick, ain't no trend about that, man. He was the trendsetter. He was the leader of what a dual quarterback looks like. That's for sure. All right, man. Hey, look. He got there. Got to Atlanta. He had 2 seasons where he rushed more than 900 yards. He made 67 starts for the Falcons, compiling a mark of 38 wins, 28 losses, 1 tie. Okay, now this did come to a halt. All right, life situation outside of football, got himself in some trouble, had to go away for some time. Was able to return to the league, but that was his time with the Falcons. Do I think that was the right move? Yes. You did good moving up there to go get Michael Vick. It just sucks that it ended the way it did. But like I said, Michael Vick is somebody that's, renowned. He's, an analyst now who speaks about sports. He's done with the game, but he's going to forever be marked as a legend, man. Possibly, officially the first to do it as being the person that put up those type of stats. All right. So, next. Okay, so I said there's about 25. I'm going to count them down from 25. So, that was number 25. All right. Number 24. Back in 2003, Baltimore sent its 2nd round pick, which was number 41 overall, and a 2004 1st round pick to New England for the Patriots' 1st round pick of number 19 overall. What did they go and get? Well, they got Kyle Bowler. Or Bowler. Either way it go, it was I want to say Fowler, but that might be kind of lame. It was a failure, guys. It wasn't it. Kyle was not that guy. He was not ready for the big league. In his 5 seasons in Baltimore, he compiled 20 wins, 22 losses. Underneath 500 is never good, but he also never had more than 13 touchdown passes in a season. So, I mean, if you're not making up for those lost touchdowns with your feet, then that's when, I mean, a lot of the times, especially being that I'm starting this list off in 2000, so, Mike was in 2001, Kyle here's in 2003. It's only 2021. So most people listening to this, you were alive and well and probably already checking out football. So if you didn't even know who Kyle Bowler was, you see I can't even pronounce his name right. No disrespect, Kyle. But then you can kind of tell how their career went. All right? I'm pretty sure the Ravens would like to take that one back. But hey, things happen. All right, now we shoot forward one more year. 2004. Buffalo Bills sent its second-round pick, which was number 43 overall, a fourth-round pick, a fifth-round pick, and their 2005 first-round pick to Dallas for their first-round pick, which was number 22 overall. So if you ask me, that's a lot they gave up for a number 22 pick. That was a lot. And who did they go and get? J.P. Lossman. J.P. Lossman. As in, lost a lot of games. As in, wasn't the right person. Oh, man. You're probably listening now, and unless you were just really dove into sports still in this period, you're like, who is J.P. Lossman? Well, if you'd like to know, they swapped 4 draft picks for one, and it just didn't work out. He went 10-23 as a starter over those 5 years. 10-23. 10 wins, 23 losses. God dog it, that's worse than Kyle Baller. Granted, that's a few more games longer than him, but, I mean, did you think that it was going to go any better? No, and I think Buffalo knew that too, which is why it stopped right there. A capiche? All right. 22, number 22. Washington. Now, Washington football team. Back then, they were the Redskins. Send their third-round pick. A 2006 first-round pick, because this is in 2005. All right, sorry if I didn't say that. 2005, so the next year, you see people sitting there next year first-round picks a lot. 2006 first-round pick and a 2006 fourth-round pick. All right, keep count how many picks it is. To Denver for the Broncos' first-round pick of number 25 overall. Another surprising low one, you know. And who did they get? Jason Campbell. This is 2005. Wasn't that long ago. All right. What do we hear about him? I remember him. Just a tad, though. Just a tad. Not enough to be like he was jumping off the screen, but, I mean, hey, this is when we know Washington was not the best team, but they had a quarterback that at least that they, you know, trusted in enough for him to start 52 games in 4 seasons, giving him a record of 20-32. So, I mean, teams weren't looking too good these early 2000s, moving up to get guys. It wasn't really working out. But things may have changed when it comes to number 21 on this list. In 2006, Denver Broncos send their first-round pick, which was number 15, and a third-round pick to the Rams for their first-round pick, number 11. So they moved up 4 spots. They moved up 4 spots for none other than Jay Cutler. Yes, Jay Cutler, the man that's probably better known for being in Chicago. He was on Denver, and he had an arm. And that's what they were trying to rely on. He had an arm. That cannot be denied. But as far as, being able to take a team to the next level, that wasn't who Jay was. That's not who Jay was, unfortunately. He played 3 seasons in Denver before the Broncos decided to trade him to the Bears. Like I said, he was better known for his time with the Bears. His career numbers were 35,000 plus, so over 35,000 passing yards, 227 touchdowns, and 160 interceptions. This is a fair amount of stats. That was, for somebody that gets to play enough games, you're supposed to get there. So, good job, but what does he have to show for it? Unfortunately, he just never won a lot of games. He never won a championship or anything like that. So, was this the right move, Broncos? Although it did not work out for you guys, I actually will say yes, this was. All right, so far, guys, that is 2 yeses, Michael Vick and Jay Cutler. and 3 no-goes. All right. People that did not work out. All right. That's where we're at. Moving on, number 20. Number 20 happened in 2007. What was a trade? Well, the Cleveland Browns, who, found themselves needing a lot of things for a lot of years. They traded their second round pick, which was number 36 overall, and their first round pick in 2008 to Dallas for the Cowboys' first round pick at number 22. Wanted them a quarterback. Who they go get? They got Brady Quinn. Out of Notre Dame. It was a good look. Looked good in college. I understand. They had the scouts out there. But he didn't do much. Like, Brady Quinn it almost like he could say he made it. He started only 12 games over the 3 seasons that he was with the Browns. And he went 3-9. He could say he went to the league. That's more than I could say. But as far as was that the right move? Nah, I don't think so. You didn't trade too much for it, but your first round pick in 2008 was gone because you thought Brady Quinn may have made some way in 2008, but he didn't. But speaking of 2008, let's go on to number 19 on this list. Number 19, back in 2008, Baltimore sends its first round pick, a third round pick, and a 6th round pick. That's 3 to the Houston Texans for their first round pick of number 18. Who are they flying up there to get? Well, that Raven flew up there to get none other than their Super Bowl winning quarterback, Joe Flacco. All right. Yes, Flacco. Not talking about now. Believe it how you feel if he is elite or not overall. But he helped the Ravens win a Super Bowl. He had a spectacular season in 2012. All right? He did great. His postseason he had 11 touchdowns in the postseason that year and no interceptions in 4 games, earning Super Bowl MVP. Look, Baltimore let him go after 11 seasons, but he at least got the job done. For what they spent to get him, I think it was worth it. He started all 163 games where he was with the Ravens. Went 96-67. Yes, Ravens. I think, at the end is where a lot of the L lane started getting higher. But initially, good job. That was the right pick. You got your ring and a lot of satisfaction. I'm not mad at that. Number 18 happened back in 2009. In 2009, if you recall, Tampa Bay sends its first round pick at number 19 and its 6th round pick to the Cleveland Browns for their 17th overall pick. Who'd they go get? Josh Freeman. Everybody kind of hit that. Josh Freeman? Oh, yeah, Josh Freeman. Yeah, Josh Freeman. Okay. Mr. Freeman had a couple decent seasons. Don't get me wrong. In his second year, he did guide them to a 10-6 record. He had 25 touchdowns with only 6 interceptions. So, you've heard me talk about being in those 20 range for touchdowns and single digit for interceptions is a really good thing. So, clearly this man was, the guy as far as handling his business in the NFL. But his relationship with the team kind of, soured in, his final year of his rookie contract. And the Bucs end up releasing him 5 games into the 2013 season. At that time, he was the franchise leader in career touchdown passes. But it just wasn't getting done. So they got rid of him, and then he just never really was able to flourish anywhere else. So was that the right pick for them? I think it was a fair pick. For, what they spent to go get him. I think it was a good one. All right? I give them good. All right. Number 17 in 2009. Let me see how I'm doing on time. Oh, you see how that rhyme? All right, I'm going to stop before I get canceled. All right. The Jets send their first round pick, which was 17 overall, a second round pick, and players Kenyon Coleman, Britt Ratliff, and Abraham Elam to the Cleveland Browns for their number 5 overall pick. That's what I call a huge sell. And they went to go get Mark Sanchez. Mark Sanchez came in. He hung around the league for 8 seasons, over 10 years, and did, he finished with a winning record. I guess that's solid. But you got to hear what it was. It was 37-36, 37 wins. One more win than losses. So it's almost like he got that and was like, all right, I'm out. While he started. But with the Jets, he was 32-29. I don't know. That one's a tough. This is probably the hardest one. Was saying, was it worth it? Because at the time, knowing what he did in college, let's also note that he did in his career with more interceptions than touchdowns. So that's not a good look for your future. But hey, I gotta say it's a wrong pick. I don't think Mark Sanchez got you nowhere near what you paid for it. Like it was not worth the payment at all. Okay, 2010 is the year. This is the number 16 event that this happened. Denver trades their second round pick, a third round pick, and a fourth round pick, all to the Baltimore Ravens for the number 25 overall pick in order to get Tim Tebow. In case anybody forgot. I don't know if you forgot about Tim Tebow out of Florida. The phenomenon. Remember him? Yeah. That guy. The analyst you see on College Game Day. But this was a catch. And I don't even want to blame this on Tebow. The Broncos never really committed to him. I feel like they didn't really lean into him too hard. He made 14 starts. Went 8-6, including 7-4 in the 2011 year when Denver made the postseason and, defeated Pittsburgh with Tebow in the wild card round, if you recall. So I think he was capable. But, a lot of people believe, he never really found his niche and his way to go as far as doing good in the league. And so I guess he also felt like he wasn't going to stick around too long. He got out by 2013, so wasn't in the league very long at all. I guess he didn't see himself having a life of being one of those practice quarterbacks or backup quarterbacks for forever, so he was gone. But I think Tim Tebow was a good pick. I'd say he was good. I'd say he just needed development, if anything, and then you find the right place for him, find the right thing for him, and boom. But no. Number 15, back in 2011, Jacksonville sent its first round pick and a second round pick to Washington for their first round pick of number 10 overall. Their original was 16 overall, so they moved up 6 spots to get Blaine Gabbert. I'm not gonna talk. 3 seasons they went 5-22 with him. The end. Just next. Just bye. In 2013, Washington football team, formerly the Washington Redskins, when they were, in this situation, they sent their first round pick, which was number 6 overall, guys. They were that high up. A second round pick and in their first round picks in 2013 and 2014 to the LA Rams for the Rams' second pick overall. So they sold out. They sent everything to go get RG3, man. Remember Robert Griffin III out of Baylor. Okay. They put all their weight on this Heisman Trophy winner. And in his rookie season, under Mike Shanahan, he looked pretty good. He was Offensive Rookie of the Year. He went 9-6, 3,200 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Great. 20 in a single digit. And another 815 rushing yards with 7 touchdowns. They made the playoffs, but it was there that unfortunately Robert Griffin suffered a serious leg injury. He returned to start 13 games into the next season, but he never really got to what that rookie season looked like. In 27 NFL starts since his rookie season, he went 7-20. The Redskins released him back in 2016. Sad story there. 2014, all right? We're getting closer and closer to now, guys. The Vikings, they got them a deal in there. Minnesota sent second-round pick and a fourth-round pick to the Seattle Seahawks for their 32nd pick. So the very end of the draft to get Teddy Bridgewater. It looked pretty good. Teddy in those 2 years there went 17-11 as a starter, led the Vikings to the playoffs in 2015. But another guy that got a devastating injury ended up becoming a full-time starter in Carolina, but then went 4-11 as a starter there. They now have Sam Darnold. So I think that'll be the end, unfortunately. Was that a good pick? I think it was fair. I'll give it a fair. That'll be my first fair one. Oh, did I say about RG3? RG3 was definitely a good pick. Yeah, that was definitely a good idea. All right. If you're keeping score, I hope you're keeping up because I don't know. Next, 12-1, man. 2014. Great year for me. I enjoyed 2014. It was a movie, as they say. Browns got themselves another Heisman. I'm not saying, Browns specifically, but as you see, Johnny Manziel, I just mentioned, Robert Griffin, all these guys are Heisman winners, okay? Oh, dang it, I revealed who it was beforehand. Yes, the Cleveland Browns sent their first-round pick, their third-round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles to get their number 22 overall pick to get Johnny Manziel. He appeared in 14 games over 2 seasons with 8 starts, went 2-6. He never played in the NFL again after that 2015 season. Do I think this was a good pick? Actually, I do. I don't know if his best fit was with the Browns, but as far as just, somebody moving things around. So, like I said, they only, got rid of they moved up 4 spots from 26 to 22 and then gave up their third-round pick. So, what they paid for, I thought was fair. They just didn't get the results, but I think it was the right choice if I was in the same seat. 2011, Broncos get in there, send in the first-round pick. All right, and then the third-round pick to Seattle to get their number 26 overall pick to get Paxton Lynch. Okay? He was not the guy. He started only 4 games over 2 seasons, went 1-3, and is no longer in the league. And we can just end that conversation there. Number 10, back in 2016, the Eagles send their first-round pick, number 8 overall. So clearly they're trying to get some heat. A third-round pick, a fourth-round pick, a 2017 first-round pick, and a 2018 second-round pick, all to Cleveland for the Cleveland Browns, number 2 overall pick, and a 2017 fourth-round pick. Who would they go get? Well, no one other than their quarterback, Carson Wentz, who's no longer with them now. But while he was there, oh man, was he doing it for him. So they spent a lot of money. So he had to pay them back, right? He had to get them something. What did Carson Wentz get them? Well, he was 11-2 as a starter in his second year back in 2017. And the Eagles went to win the Super Bowl that season, but not with him. Okay? His backup won it after he got injured. But by the 2020 season, Wentz's career had, been, affected a lot by this injury. His relationship with Doug Peterson got ugly. The team, he started saying bad things about the city, and he got sent to the Colts. Will this be the end of Carson Wentz? We will see. Was that a good pick by the Eagles? I think that was a good move. I think they spent just one pick too much, though. Rams are my number 2016 move, if you recall. The closer we get, the more you guys remember these things. So, the Rams sent their first-round pick, 2 second-round picks, and a third-round pick, a first-round pick in 2017, and a third-round pick in 2017. All the Tennessee Titans for their number 1 overall pick. And they got a 4th-round pick and a 6th-round pick from them as well. But they want the number 1 from the Titans in order to get Jared Goff. Okay, cool, Jared Goff. Jared Goff, assisted with them going to the Super Bowl. They didn't win it, but they had a great time. He started 69 games in which he played for them and did 42 and 27. They made the playoffs 3 of the 5 years with him. He passed for 107 touchdowns and 55 interceptions. I feel like that's solid. I feel like that's just good enough. Just good enough. Like, I'm pretty sure they wanted more, but good enough. Okay. Number 8, in 2017, the Houston Texans send their first-round pick. They sent their first-round pick and the 2018 first-round pick to Cleveland Browns for their number 12 overall pick. And with that, they got Deshaun Watson. Now, prior to the 2020 season, Watson was 24-13 as a starter and had led the Texans to the postseason twice. Led the NFL in passing in 2020 and set career highs in completion percentages. Yards and TDs, actually. But they had a terrible season this past season, went 4-12, and now he is got all kind of media trouble because of things outside of it. Was this the right choice? What they paid for him? Actually, they actually got a steal for what they got, what they did, and who they got. Congrats. 2017, again, who else moved around? Well, no one other than Kansas City, who sent their first-round pick, which was number 27 overall, a third-round pick, and a 2018 first-round pick to Buffalo for the Bills' first-round pick of number 10 overall. And they got Patrick Mahomes. Now, what did they see that everybody else wasn't seeing? I don't know. But good job, you geniuses. You guys have really paid it. Just in 2017, that was. Look at that. And what did you get out of it? Super Bowl. All right. Patrick Mahomes is 38-8 as a starter. And his resume includes 1 MVP, 3 Pro Bowl selections. The Super Bowl. Went twice, won 1. All for the cost of a 3rd round and a 2018 first round. That was 22nd overall. Every team definitely wish that they could have did this. Good job. In 2017, somebody else moved around. Chicago. They sent their first round pick, which was number 3 overall, 3rd round pick, and a 4th round pick, all, and a 2018 3rd round pick to San Francisco for their number 2 overall. So they moved up 1 spot, which, goodness gracious, you could have just talked to San Francisco and said, don't take them. But they went to go get Mitchell Trubisky. We all know how that went. It didn't go anything like Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, so good luck to him. Was it worth it? No. If I have to tell you that Patrick Mahomes was worth it, then just log off right now. 2018, moving 1 year ahead, Baltimore send their 2nd round pick and a 4th round pick and the 2019 2nd round pick to the Eagles for their 1st round pick of number 32 in order to get Lamar Jackson. Was it you talking about the one that won the Super Bowl? Not the Super Bowl. The one, the MVP? Yes, that Lamar Jackson. Was it a good choice? Yes. All right. 2018, we're on number 4, by the way. Arizona sent their 1st round pick, a 3rd round pick, and a 5th round pick to the Raiders for their 1st round pick of number 10 in order to get Josh Rosen. No. Number 3. In 2018, Buffalo sends its 1st round pick and a 2nd round to Tampa Bay for their number 7 overall pick in order to get Josh Allen. The Bills are coming off their first divisional title and a playoff victory since 1995. You think within the past 2 seasons that's a good thing that they got Josh Allen? Yes. He's only getting better and better. He's only gotten better over his 3 seasons, and he's only going to get better. Man, as long as they keep him healthy and protected, Josh Allen is their guy. Good pick. That's a yes. And also in 2018, New York Jets sent a first-round pick, which was number 6 overall, 2 second-round picks, and a second-round pick in the 2019 draft to Indianapolis for their third-round pick. So moved up 3 spots in order to get Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold. So he was 13-25 on his record there in 3 seasons in the Big Apple. But he's now on Carolina Panthers because he did not deliver. Bad choice. And number 1, the most recent one of the most shocking ones. Green Bay Packers send their first round pick, number 30, and a 4th round pick to Miami for his first round pick. Now, they got Jordan Love, guys. Everybody remembers it. We talk about it all the time because, Aaron Rodgers is there. No one saw this coming. But they got this guy in the first round, and they moved to get him. So everybody knew what that may have meant or what they may have been trying to say. But Aaron Rodgers seemed like he's not going anywhere. Aaron, he just won MVP. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think he needs to, at least. So what are they going to do with Jordan? Can't let him, go to waste back there for his 5 years. Now, granted, if he does, take a time and he's really learned from Aaron and they move away from Aaron in the next year or 2, then we'll see what Jordan can do. But we don't really know if that was the best move yet. It didn't seem like it because it seemed like it stopped them from getting just what they need to make it to the Super Bowl this past season. So as a team, then no, that was the wrong pick. But as far as Jordan himself delivering on what they spent, I can't speak on that yet. So the last one is going to be undefined, man. I don't know if that was a good pick or not. Because he can come in wow us and be, the next Aaron Rodgers. Then, well, good luck, Green Bay. But that's what I got for you, man. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know that was a lot. It's probably literally one of my longest segments. So definitely going to take this quick commercial break real quick and then get into the rest of the show. The final segment's up next, so stay tuned.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
And we are back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are tuned into the GSMC Football Podcast with your boy, your guy, DJ Youngs. All right, man. It's finally time to wrap things up, man. We are on the final segment. Hope you enjoyed things thus far, though. But, hey, man, I know I got to get you guys out of here with all the information that you could possibly need to enjoy the draft tonight. So right now, go ahead. You had a lot of information already, but get your pen and your paper out right now. If you need a quick study, this is the time. If you want to make a draft board, we've discussed for days, for weeks, on what teams need. I've discussed the AFC earlier. I discussed the NFC last episode. We've been dibbling and dabbling in news on what people have been talking about, what teams have moved up, what is expected, what usually happens when teams move like that. And now, even though I've discussed, just players in general, I want to just give you what the rankings are amongst various sources, but they generally agree with this by position. All right. I'm probably going to try to limit it to about 10 per position, but certain positions might get extended based off of the talent I see, or I might just shout out some people too that I see on the list, because some of them are longer than others. One, because only a certain amount of people declare for the draft. Enough people are qualified to be drafted, things of that nature, right? All right, so getting into it, man, starting from top to bottom, man, you got to start with the quarterback position. Number one quarterback, obviously, it's Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has been doing his thing at Clemson for years. He has a championship, man. He's somebody we've been watching play and compete at a very high level consistently. So it was a no-brainer that this kid was going to be number one, just like a lot of those number one picks that end up being quarterbacks are. If it's not a defensive player like a DN or some wide receiver or running back that's done something spectacular or shooting. Because usually a team that is picking first is the team that has struggled the most and need to get something to change their franchise. So, of course, you're going to get the one player that touches the ball the most, which is the quarterback. All right? So Trevor Lawrence gets number one. Number two, number three usually can be interchangeable. On my end, though, I would agree with number two being Justin Fields of Ohio State. Number three, Zach Wilson, BYU. 4, Mac Jones of Alabama. 5, Trey Lance of North Dakota State. Again, Trey Lance is a very controversial one because he only played like one game or whatever in the past year, because they want to showcase him. He played one season, did spectacular, then played the one game this past season to showcase what he can do. But of course, teams that are looking for quarterbacks definitely went to his pro day and saw what he can do. All right, but he's expected to go at least top 3 when it comes to the quarterbacks. Number 6, Davis Mills out of Stanford. Number 7, Kyle Trask out of Florida. Me, myself, I would actually put Kyle Trask above David Mills, but hey, that's how it works. Number 8, Kellen Mond out of Texas A&M. Shout out, man. Whoop. All right, I'm glad to see you that high, buddy. He's definitely probably going to end up on the team. I don't know if he's going to start, but that would be cool to see. Wishing him the best, though, man. Moving on from A&M, my alma mater. Number 9, Jamie Newman, Wake Forest, and he also went to Georgia. Number 10, Philippe Franks of Arkansas. Number 11, Sam Ellinger from Texas. Pretty low for him, as much as his name had been around, but it's just because Texas is a big school for the most part, if you ask me. Number 12, Shane Buechele. Number 13, Ian Book. 14, Zach Smith. Ian Book's Notre Dame. Zach Smith is Tulsa. And number 15 is Brady White from Memphis. All right. Of course, there's a few more quarterbacks available in a draft. But that's the top 15, man. Top that you may see at least in the first 2 to 3 rounds, depending on, what all happens there. All right. Okay, hold on. I told you guys before all the time that if I ever get a news update, I'll bring it to you live here. Lamar Jackson paid a lucky passer by $100 after the man thought he was a wide receiver and then an offensive lineman. All right, so that's not really too crazy breaking news, but one, why is this reported? And 2, why did he give him $100 if the guy didn't even know who he was? What in the world? I guess. All right. Back to what we're talking about here, guys, because it's not about Lamar. We are talking about these young guys. It's about the young guys today, man. It's like prom almost, when you're a senior, it's your day. It's all about the seniors. They get to dress up and shoot. Like the teachers' administration almost catered to them, make sure they got everything, and everything's so nice for them that night. So sweet. That's what tonight is. These guys are getting dressed up. They get to spend time with their family and watch their names get called. How amazing is that? Moving on to the running backs, man. The guys that back up the quarterback that makes it into the end zone and score for these teams, man. Number one, Najee Harris out of Alabama, so elusive, of course. Travis Etienne, Clemson, definitely, I don't know if you want to call him a power back, but really he's like an overall back, if you want to say. Like, he can do it all, if you ask me. Number three, Javonte Williams out of North Carolina. Number four, Michael Carter, also out of North Carolina. Number five, Trey Sermon out of Ohio State. Number 6, Kenneth Gainwell out of Memphis. 7, Ramondre Stevenson out of Oklahoma. Number 8, Larry Rountree III, Missouri. Number 9, Chuba Hubbard out of Oklahoma State. Number 10, Jared Patterson out of Buffalo. 11, Javian Hawkins, Louisville. 12, Jamar Jackson, Oregon State. Oh, sorry, I don't know why I said Jackson. Jameer Jefferson, Oregon State. Number 13, Jake Funk, Maryland. Number 14, Kylan Hill, Mississippi State. 15, Rakeem Boyd, Arkansas. 16, Chris Evans, not Captain America, but Chris Evans, the guy out of Michigan. Number 17, Khalil Herbert, Virginia Tech. 18, Elijah Mitchell, Louisiana Lafayette. Sorry if I'm going too fast for you guys. I mean, this is a podcast. Just rewind it 15 seconds. Number 19, Puka Williams Jr. out of Kansas. And number 20, Caleb Huntley, Ball State. Now, receivers, of course, there's always a trillion receivers, right? But some I do want to recognize, man. CJ Marble, who's ranked number 27 out of Coastal Carolina. Okay. Also, Nate McCrary. All right, he's in here, top 50, top 40, and that's Saginaw Valley State. All right. And Elijah Dotson, who's also top 50, Sacramento State. Shout out to all those guys. Definitely, I mean, some great talent. Really, clearly all these guys are trying to get drafted are great talents, but definitely those significant ones, man. Don't be surprised if any of the names that just came out of my mouth surprise you in one, either a higher pick than you expect, probably even a higher round, and then two, or what they do in the league. There's always, plenty of steals in the draft. I did just see an article of steals. I mean, the most famous one is Tom Brady, I'm sure. You can also hear about Russell Wilson was a steal. That was somebody that nobody really looked into getting, was able to get him. There's quite a number. Like the article was one from literally every school. Okay. Also, real quick, I mean, just because this is a short list, I'll add them. Wait. I did say running backs when I start this list, I feel like at some point I said receivers. If I did, I'm sorry, guys. Let me clear it up now. If I did say receivers, then, the list I just gave you were running backs. And if you felt confused, wait, I thought he said this. Yes. I just want to clear that up. Sorry if I confuse you. All right. To follow those wide receivers, there are... I mean, God dog it, see, I just did it again because now I'm confusing myself. To follow those running backs, the fullbacks, H-backs, the big guys that, can also be back there. Number 1 ranked out of Michigan is Ben Mason. Number 2 out of Wisconsin is Mason Stokey. Number 3 out of LSU is Torrey Carter. 4 out of Northwestern, John Rain. 5 out of McKinney, and then went to Kansas State. That is Brill Moore. And then out of Alabama, number 6, Carl Tucker. All right. Now, on to the receivers. All right. So, sorry, again, if there was confusion. My bad. Okay. So, now, this is... I don't know what I really feel like I said something about receivers, and I don't know. My bad, guys. We're on the receivers now, and yes, if I did say this about it, then what I was saying is there's always a ton of receivers, right? I think that's what threw me off, because I was saying there's a lot of running backs. Ton of receivers, so I'm going to do the top 20. Don't want to do 25. Yeah, I'm going to do the top 25 for the receivers, and then shout-outs, because there are some guys that, deserve to be shouted out. Okay? Starting from the top wide receiver, number one, who is it? Is it Jamar? Is it Jalen? Is it Devontae? I don't know, but two of them went to Alabama. Number one is in Alabama. Devontae Smith. Obviously, man, he's the best, football player receiver for sure. If you want to take an attributes of specific of the position, then it can be argued if that's Jamar Chase. But all around, just a player that you can feel like you can almost put anywhere, I'd say Devontae Smith, which he is ranked number one at the position here. Out of Alabama. Number two is Jamar Chase out of LSU. Then number three is Jalen Waddle, who definitely probably would have been number one if he didn't have his injury this past season. So if he still got to do his thing, I think a lot of things would have been different. Devontae wouldn't have the numbers he put up, probably wouldn't have got the Heisman Trophy, all of that. But, I mean, everything happens for a reason, and I'm not trying to take away from Devontae because he definitely deserved it. The boy went off. But just saying. All right, number 4, Elijah Moore out of Mississippi. Excuse me. Number 5, Rashad Bateman, Minnesota. 6, Kadarius Toney out of Florida. 7, Terrence Marshall Jr. out of LSU. 8, Dwayne Eskridge, out of Western Michigan. 9, Diami Brown out of North Carolina. 10, Tutu Atuel out of Louisville. 11, Amari Rogers out of Clemson. 12, Anthony Schwartz, Auburn. 13, Rondale Moore, Purdue. As you can see, I changed it to how they're going to announce at the draft, all right? The 14th pick, Tylan Wallace, Oklahoma State. 15, Amon Ra, St. Brown, USC. 16, Sage Surratt, Wake Forest. 17, Nico Collins, Michigan. 18, Shi Smith, South Carolina. 19, Simi Fehoko, Stanford. 20, Cade Johnson, South Dakota State. 21, Demetric Felton, UCLA. 22, Josh Palmer, Tennessee. 23, Jalen Darden, North Texas. Shout out. 24, Dez Fitzpatrick, Louisville. And 25, Trayvon Grimes, Florida. That's the top 25. Giving my shout outs, man. Marquise Stevenson, Houston. All right. Jonathan Adams Jr., Arkansas State. Warren Jackson, Colorado State. Jamon Usbon, Ayusbon. Sorry if I pronounced that really bad, but that's the best I can get. Texas A&M. Isaiah McCoy out of Kent State. Okay. Trey Walker, San Jose State. Hold on. I got some more. Dajane Dixon, Nicholls State. Blake Prohl, Eastern Carolina. KJ Stefferson, Jacksonville State. Adrian Hardy, Louisiana Tech. Kawan Baker, South Alabama. Jimmy Robinson, Bethune-Cookman. And Donnie Corley out of Texas Southern, man. Shout out to those guys, man. A lot of those guys don't get enough recognition in the media, because their teams don't get to play that often on television or some like really ever. So that's why I just wanted to use this platform to hype them up, even when they, aren't at the top of these lists because they aren't, shown on TV a lot. Clearly, guys, that's what it is. All right, tight ends. We all know Kyle Pitts, and then I'll give you the other 9, just so you can have some other names. All right, Kyle Pitts out of Florida is number 1. Number 2, Hunter Long, Boston College. 3, Pat Freiermuth, Penn State. 4, Brevin Jordan, Miami. 5, Kenny Yeboah, Mississippi. 6, Tommy Tremble, Notre Dame. 7, Trey McKinney, Georgia. 8, John Bates, Boise State. 9, Zach Davidson, Central Missouri. And 10, Noah Gray, Duke. Offensive tackles. Number 1, Penny Sewell, Oregon. 2, Rashawn Slater, Northwestern. 3, Christian Darrisaw, Virginia Tech. 4, Tevin Jenkins, Oklahoma State. 5, Dylan Rodens, North Dakota State. 6, Jalen Mayfield, Michigan. 7, Liam Eckenberg, Notre Dame. 8, Walker Little, Stanford. 9, Samuel Cosme, Texas. And 10, Alex Leatherwood, Alabama. Also, shout out to Dan Moore Jr. out of Texas A&M. Deontay Smith out of Eastern Carolina. Carson Green out of Texas A&M. Clearly, I'm saying Texas A&M ones as a bias a little bit there. Calvin Ashley, Florida A&M, and Keon Smith, Fayetteville State. Guards, you have Elijah Vera Tucker, USC. Quinn Meanez, Wisconsin Whitewater. Aaron Banks, Notre Dame. Wyatt Davis, Ohio State. Ben Cleveland, Georgia. Robert Hasen, Notre Dame. If you're keeping up, we're on 7. Trey Smith, Tennessee. Kendrick Green, Illinois. David Moore, Grambling. I love that. And 10, Deontay Brown, Alabama. Okay. You also have Jared Hawker, Texas A&M, in that top, right? And centers is a short list, but I'm happy to see out of the top 10 centers that are going to the draft, one of them for sure. Yeah, one went to an HBCU, man. One local here to the Houston area. So, number 1, Landon Dickerson out of Alabama. 2, Creed Humphrey, Oklahoma. 3, Trey Hill, Georgia. Josh Myers, Ohio State. Drew Dahlman, Stanford. Michael Minute, Penn State. Drake Jackson, Kentucky. Jimmy Morrissey, Pitt. Ryan McCollum, Texas A&M. There's so many Texas A&M. And number 10, Danny Garza, Prairie View A&M. All right. Best of luck to you guys, man. That's really exciting. Defensive side. All right. Defense. All right, we're going to do the DNs. Then we're going to do the linebackers. They have inside and outside. Okay. So we'll do inside 5, outside 5, because that's a lot of linebackers. They're like a ton of them. Top 10 cornerbacks and top 10 safeties. All right. Gonna wrap it up there. No disrespect to long snappers and kickers and punters, but it's very, very rare that they go in the first round. Okay. All right. Who are they going to be looking for on defense when it's time? Let's talk about defensive ends. Number 1 is Jalen Phillips, Miami. Guidi Pay, Michigan. Gregory Russo, Miami. Ronnie Perkins, Oklahoma. Peyton Turner, Houston. Joseph Osai, Texas. Carlos Basham, Jr., Wake Forest. Deo Odeyingbo, Vanderbilt. 9, Cameron Sample, Tulane. And 10, Patrick Jones Jr., Pitt. Inside linebackers, Micah Parsons, Penn State. Jamie Davis, Kentucky. Nick Bolton, Missouri. Ernest Jones, South Carolina. Chaz Surratt, North Carolina. Baron Browning, Ohio State. I definitely added an extra because I was doing 5 and 5. So, lucky him. Outside linebackers, Jeremiah Owusu-Koroma, Notre Dame. Xavier Collins, Tulsa. Aziz Ojulari, Georgia. Jason Owe, Penn State. Joe Tryon, Washington. Penn State got quite a few guys in here, if you ask me. Surprising on my end that it's, that many. Not saying that they aren't that good, but okay. Also, shout out to Anthony Hines III out of Texas A&M, man. Again, my alma mater, guys. My alma mater. All right, cornerbacks. J.C. Horn, South Carolina is number 1. Then Patrick Surtain out of Alabama. Some people say they can switch that, but hey, depends on what you're looking for, right? Number 3, Greg Newsome, Northwestern. 4, Caleb Farley, Virginia Tech. 5, Asante Samuel Jr., Florida State. 6, Tyson Campbell, Georgia. 7, Benjamin St. Joseph, Minnesota. 8, Kelvin Johnson, Kentucky. 9, Eric Stokes, Georgia. And 10, Ifeanyi Melifonwu, Syracuse. I actually think I got that name right. Wow, that one was impressive, right, guys? Sorry, I just been struggling with these names, as y'all can clearly hear. I'm so sorry, y'all. Just bear with me and don't come for me, guys. If y'all ever hear this, I'm not trying to mess them up on purpose. I'm just not good with names. But also in this category of cornerbacks, I want to shout out to Mac McCain, a third out of NCANT, man. All right, hoping to see that young man go somewhere. And last but not least, top 10 safeties. Give them to me. Number 1, Trayvon Morig. That is out of TCU. He's the one talked about the most. I'm pretty confident he'll be the first safety amongst this group to go for a fact. Other positions can be, here or there. That one, I'm pretty sure that's a solid one. Number 2, Richie Grant out of UCF. 3, Javon Holland out of Oregon. 4, DeMar Hamlin, Pitt. 5, Jamar Johnson, Indiana. 6, Ardarius Washington, TCU. TCU had them some safeties, boy. 7, Andre Cisco, Syracuse. 8, Hamasa Nasaruddin, Florida State. 9, Jermaine Sherwood, Auburn. 10, Tyree Gillespie. I think it's Gillespie, but spelled weird. Missouri. That's the people in each position. Top 10, top 15. Special shout outs. Kind of gives you an idea of who you're going to hear. I guarantee you, I just named a lot of people, and all of those names, like, there's only going to be 32 called tonight. I called well over 32. All right. But just know the 32 that's getting called tonight have been released from my lips within the last 26 minutes. All right. Now it's our time to say farewell, for me to bid adieu. Man, look. First off, let's just talk about how long this episode is. I am so sorry. It's probably the longest one thus far, guys. So bear with me. But I hope you enjoyed it, man. I really do. I hope you get a chance to listen to this before the draft. If you're a faithful listener, then you're listening when you're supposed to, when they drop the morning of on Thursday. So, as always, thank you so much for listening. Of course, this is the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, DJ Youngs. I would like to ask that you please remember to subscribe, write the review. It can be nice, it can be mean, but if it's mean, I'll find you. No, I'm just kidding. Relax. But it really helps, man. It really helps me with my development. It really helps us get better as a podcast, as a network, things of that nature. Also, can you please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, GSMC_football, as well as there's a plethora of other GSMC podcasts that you can check out and follow as well if you're into other things outside of football. But, I mean, you could just love football just like me. But thank you. Good morning, good evening, good night. Farewell, my friends.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.